House Radio, linking the world to the Caribbean. Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed on the Powerhouse radio station are those of the host, guests, and callers, are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other hosts or advertisers. The show, found on the Powerhouse radio station, can promote any lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and/or claim any cure of disease or conditions. Opinions stated by various contributors to the Powerhouse Radio and its programming are not to be considered as endorsed by the Powerhouse Radio station. Visitors are urged to use their own discernment to draw their own conclusion. We emphasize the importance of keeping an open mind.
The Hinkson Firm's mission is to provide superior legal service in the areas of family law, child welfare law,
Greetings,
general legal
Tonia.
services, and mediation by keeping convenience of the clients at the forefront. The Hinkson Firm's goal is to eliminate the stress of an already intense situation in your life by coming directly to
Camera a
your
little
workplace
blurry.
and or a location close to your home for consultation, meetings, and mediation. The Hinkson Firm customized legal attention
Hey, Tonia.
and respect they deserve while fighting strongly and fiercely for justice and their legal rights. The Hinkson Firm can be reached at 470-499-4704.
Yes, you are in tune to right here to Reasoning Thursdays. Each and every Thursdays right here on the Powerhouse Radio with yours truly, Lady D and Mama Acid. Want to say big ups to you, Donna. Large up yourself. As we normally start out with Donna, we're gonna do work it out, and then we have some hard, serious topics that we are going to be discussing today. And we're going to be talking about the mass shootings. We're going to be reasoning about the current General Secretary, PNP in Jamaica, Dr. Dayton Campbell. We're going to be speaking in regards to the filibuster that's going on right now in the Senate and Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. We're going to be touching that. We're also going to be touching the COVID and the COVID pandemic and what's going on with the unemployment right now. So you all keep it locked. Don't you all go anywhere. And then when we come back, we'll be hitting it up with all of our hellos and get deep down into our topics. So check it out right here. Work it out. And that's what we're hoping that the government will do. Work it out. Governments all around the world, that they will work it out. So check out Don Minot, Work It Out. And then we're going to get in some serious reasoning. So keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. And don't touch those dials.
We gotta work it out. I find it hard to believe that we don't love no more. I find it hard to believe we don't love like before. There was a time when we loved, live in love and harmony. We had a whole lot of love, we lived in unity. So where did we go wrong? We don't sing the same song. Where did we go wrong? Yeah, we don't sing that same song. 'Cause I find it hard to believe the way we treat each other. I find it hard to believe we should be a brother, yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the man himself, Don Alminit. Right here, it's called Work It Out. Work It Out. And that we're hoping that the governments and the world government will try to do is to really work it out. How you doing, Mama Acid?
You already know.
I know. Mama Acid is ready and geared up to get into some serious reasoning. And I'm all definitely on board along with Mama Acid. So where we're going to, we want to say big ups to each and all of our listeners that are listening via the internet, via the YouTube channel, via the telephone lines, and to all our partnering streaming companies. We want to say big ups to you all as well, and we thank you all for being right here with us each and every Thursdays. We want to encourage each and every one as well to make sure that they go on and they like, subscribe, and press the notification button for our YouTube channel. Big up yourself, Too Strong. Lodge up yourself, and Too Strong's program come on right after ours. But for all of the fantabulous programming right here on the Powerhouse Radio, you know, Wednesdays is Let's Gripe, Thursdays is Reasoning Thursdays, Saturdays you have the Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion 8 to 10, the Lady D Show 12 to 4. Tuesdays we have the Kids Way. Oh, I skipped over Sunday. Sunday is our Gospel Explosions in the morning. And we have the Medicure Daughter with Ayameta on Sunday nights from 6 to 7. And then All About Love, Nothing But Love from 7 to 9 on Sundays. Tuesdays, we have the Kids Way at 6 p.m. And
Wednesday is Let's Gripe.
Wednesday, Let's Gripe from 7 to 8 p.m. Tonight,
I'll be glad when I go back to 9 o'clock.
We're trying to go, we're trying to cut all the times to an hour. But Mama Ass is trying to get me to go to 9 o'clock.
It's too much going on. We cannot stop the news.
No, we can't stop the news, but you know what? Sometimes I need someone else in the studio to help me out. So we're gonna have to hire someone to help us in the studio. Mama Acid. We're gonna have to hire someone to help us to man the studio in here. But big ups to each and every one once again, to all of the to each and every one, all of the radio
The sick and
personalities.
shut in list too. We got several people on the sick and shut in list, and we got to send them love and sunshine.
This big ups to you all, Chicken Shady and crew. We want to say big ups to you all and thank you all for tuning in and for, you know, the support and all. And once again, to all of our sponsors, we want to say big ups to all the sponsors whom is sponsoring the Powerhouse Radio, One by One Kia, Honey Child's Kitchen, Hinkson Firm, Unique Total Care, Mystique Enterprise. We want to say big ups to each and everyone that continues to support. And we do have some sponsorship packages, so you all can definitely link us in regards to the sponsorship packages. All righty, Acid, where we
and merchandise coming soon.
And merchandises are coming soon. And airwaves, our own personal airwave is coming soon. So we have lots of big things going on over here at the Powerhouse Radio as we continue to grow. This light is shining on me, like make me have a bright spot.
You gorgeous. You know you are.
Thank you. You beautiful yourself. You beautiful.
Well, I'm looking at you, thinking to myself, ooh, oh yes, merch, children. We saw y'all in y'all t-shirts the other night, and we knew it was time. We had to answer the challenge.
All right, where we starting now, Acid? Where we kicking it off at?
Let's start with some funny stuff.
Funny stuff, and then we're gonna get serious with the mass shootings. We're gonna start there and then go to, are we gonna hit that Marjorie Green Taylor first?
Okay, funny.
Funny. Go.
This is absolutely hilarious. That
Okay.
woman that tried to claim she was accosted in Central Park by a man walking his dog last year, they called her Central Park Karen.
Yeah.
She got fired from her job.
Mhm.
She's suing the company she used to work
She's suing the company.
for.
Okay. Okay. Because they fired her. Remember, we had that conversation a couple of weeks back on where can you be truthful and to whom you can be truthful to. We had that like last month. We had that serious discussion, and the jobs and employment places is firing people because of what they do in their own personal time on their, so maybe we need to touch that back pretty soon. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Too Strong. He said it helps to illuminate that dark skin.
That's right, because you gorgeous. She
Nate.
glowing.
Melanie. All right.
Hey,
Serious.
well, we you know what? The bad another one good thing. We really want to encourage Black love. Um, Dwayne Wade and his wife Gabrielle Union Wade have in their relationship a no compete agreement, and no one leaves. They both follow each other.
Okay.
That made me happy. And
That's nice.
then also, ASAP Rocky and Rihanna have publicly declared their relationship, and she cried on stage the other night.
Okay.
She said she
Okay.
has a new album coming out soon, y'all.
Yeah, Mr. Too Strong said that's a lawsuit without merit.
I think she's just trying to get some publicity, Mr. Too Strong, because I think some people just need to be seen
Yeah, and she's one of them. She's definitely one of
choking
them.
her dog out there like that.
Mm,
I'll never forget that. That was just me.
that was more than me. That was more than me. Let's get down to it before you get angry.
Okay, so we talk about something that I could not quite get my brain wrapped around the other night. I started watching TV series. This only gonna take a second, y'all, because y'all gonna notice that my eyes are blinking real fast. Because I'm still trying to deal with it. It's a series that's on Prime called Underground. It's about the Underground Railroad, and one of the each chapter in the series is more and more dramatic. So I'm at chapter 3 right now, called North Carolina. Look, y'all, I learned something last night that blew my mind, literally. Bow. Did y'all know black people were made illegal? Like you could not be black in North Carolina.
What? Say that again. You cannot be. I'm gonna say it for you.
North
You cannot.
Carolina has a law
Uh huh.
that during slavery, the reason they said they kept out slavery was because they ruled that black people were not allowed in North Carolina. So if you
Okay.
were black in North Carolina, if some one of the slave catchers, which they ran a big church in North Carolina, if they caught you and they brought you, they would do all types of horrible violence to you. Then they would kill you. They would lynch you in front of the church. That was their religion. What was the church? The Ku Klux Klan. I
Mhm.
never seen anything so horrifying in my entire life, and I have to say that I've seen some things, but just watching this, I couldn't even watch it. I was 30 minutes into the to 30 minutes into episode 3, and I had to shut it off. And I can watch some horrible stuff, but this shut mama ass down.
Okay.
I
What's
don't
what's
know.
what's the name of that show again?
It's called Underground, and it's on Prime.
Underground Crime.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
on Prime. You know, Prime
Uh huh.
Network.
Prime time. Okay. So
and
you're
it's
saying
on
this is
and
a
it's
law
called Underground. It's like 10 chapters in the series, and this is like 10 episodes in series chapter 1.
are you
And it's
saying
about the Underground Railroad. I have never
from
seen
back in the
anything.
day? Okay, okay, I
They
get you.
show a lynching and a body burning, and I mean, the things that they show in this, I really think that, critical race theory, this is critical race theory in itself. So you wanted to go into talking about something kind of important, so we could just go on and get it out the way, the filibuster and how it's
Mhm.
being used in the history of it, because we did have this discussion, and I said that I would try my best to follow it back in the history.
Yes.
I followed it back into the 1930s. It came right after FDR went out of office, and the reason they brought it in was because they used it as, and it's not a law, it's also a tactic. It's not legal, but people accept it and they allow it to happen in the Senate. Now, the filibuster is to burn off time and prevent any logic from being imparted into an argument and discussion of a bill that is being passed in Senate. And the two houses are called Congress because the House of Representatives is Congress and the Senate is a part of the Congress. The Congress is the two houses.
Right.
Okay? The two houses form Congress. One is the Senate, one
Mhm.
is the House of Representatives. So the
Mhm.
people in the House of Representatives are called congressmen. The people in the Senate are called senators, but the House of Representatives is controlled by the Senate in the sense that the Senate either ratifies the bill that the House of Representatives has written, or they filibuster and decide they're going to let it get dust on it. It was a very recent study done by some students from, I believe it was Georgetown. It might have been another university, but I'm pretty sure it was Georgetown, where they studied the amount of bills that sat in filibuster since Mitch McConnell has been in the Senate for the past 20 years. 20 years. They got bills stacked up that are 20 years old. You know what most of them concern?
What civil rights for the blacks?
Civil rights, equal rights, voting rights, employment rights,
Everything that's going to benefit black persons, melanated skin
anything
people.
that's going to benefit a minority person that's not rich. All the things that he votes on are for rich people. If it's not about making money for Republicans, he is not going to allow it to come up for a vote. So I know I shouldn't do this, but I just need to get it out. I hope y'all understand, okay? Y'all just got to bear with me because I'm having a rough time right now. I normally don't ask people to pray with me on things, but I need y'all to pray with me that every banana peel that can find itself in the path of Mitch McConnell is not only there, but suddenly appears there because we need him to slip on more than one. We need him to crack his head, and we need for there to be a change immediately in Senate. Now, I'm sorry if I sound mean, but I figure if he slips on a banana peel, would be better than me saying I hope he falls on one of those guns from that girl from Ohio, who I would not say her name, or the other one neither, the snotty one, who Lady D and I are going to be discussing next. What's her name?
Miss Green.
Miss Green.
Miss Green. Okay, so
Miss
with the
Green.
filibuster, what can be done to stop this filibuster that the Senate is going on with? Can there really be something? Can there really be something that is done to bring this thing to a head?
There's a couple things. One of them is if he slips on a banana peel and then can't never come back to. Anyway, but here we go. What can be done? What can really be done? Suggestions were made that there should be a manual produced that specifically limits the powers of Senate to restrict conversation on bills. That means that the filibuster would then be done away with. But the Republicans have made it so that there's a rule that says the Democrats can only invoke their power so many times per session to vote without any Republicans being involved and approve a bill, which quite honestly I think is very much in need of address.
Yeah.
It stank. I
Yeah.
had to restrain myself because I know I need to be professional. But I do want to say this. Sometimes I have to remain professional, y'all, because I want to say things and they're not nice things. And also, Lady D has to be concerned about not just her license, but also about what people would say about the station. Because previously I have said things and people have said, Mama Acid should not be on the radio talking that way. But I want people to understand that right now we have to say things. And if I have to ask y'all to pray with me for that man to fall down on a rainy day or on a banana peeling or on a pile of poop, whatever it is he falls on, and may he hit his head and it be real, real hard and bust it wide open so he can't come back up in Congress. Because we don't need him in the Senate preventing laws from getting passed. He is the reason why we don't have unemployment straight right now.
Alrighty. Too Strong says people are stupid because you have more poor people than rich people. And he also says they should not allow this to happen.
Can I respond to that? Would you mind?
Sure, you can. Go ahead.
Big up. You know you right.
Yeah. Yeah. They should not
But
allow.
really, really, why would we pay these people roughly? Listen now, how much we paying them a day? We paying some of them $5,000 a day to sit
Yeah.
there for 3 hours. $5,000 to sit there for 3 hours and not do anything. In fact, restrict us, prevent us, tie our necks and our hands above our head to restrain America and Americans.
Yeah. That's some serious
All
business.
right, Lady D, you got to say something.
That's some serious business. That's some big serious business. And I don't think that that's something that should be allowed. I think that each branch is given too much power. I think they everyone should have someone on top of them. Someone to answer to and someone who can say, listen. And remember last week or the week before I said that I think there ought to be a time frame on documents that are placed on these desks. I think there ought to be a time frame, okay? Because even in my line of business, when we submit something to the state, each department have a time frame as to when they need to get these documents back to us. So I'm feel that that's the same thing that should happen with with all of these branches. Two Strong says vote them out, and that's what we've been preaching for the last 7 years. I think it is
More
acid.
than that, we've been preaching this since Bad Gals Radio days,
Very long time we've been preaching
since
that
the 90s, y'all.
since the 90s. Okay, that is the 90s. Ooh, been around
I know
long.
I should be telling your age. You still a child, baby. She just a little baby, y'all.
Okay, you know that it starts from your state level representatives. It starts from whom we are electing from the state go up. And I heard Tania mention that um yesterday on Let's Gripe. And I
Hmm.
said, Mama may be listening. That's
Hmm.
exactly
I like
what
that.
we need to be doing. We need to encourage persons. And that's the same thing with our votes for the president. It is important for us to know who we're putting in office that are count that's really making our votes. You know what I mean? So yeah, I have a problem with that, and I'm hoping that one day they will have a point and check system. You know what I mean?
There
And
is one. It's called a register. Every time they vote, it's listed. We can go there and see it. And your voting record for your congressman and your senate is public. You can look at it 24 hours a day. Can't
uh,
nobody stop you or tell you what they didn't vote on. You can also see when they working because you can look at the clock and see how many hours they have been in Senate or in Congress during session, during that
I
session.
even mean I even mean there needs to be a check system as to when you give documentation.
Oh yeah, yeah. When the Congress gives them a vote and says you got 2 weeks and you need to go on and act on this.
This thing needs to be voted upon, executed, and out of this and out of the office at this point. At this from you know what I'm saying? There needs to be a check and point system on that. So that
Oh, do you know
um,
what? I'm glad you said that because I want to throw something back that we talked about 2, 3 years ago, and we were saying we were waiting to see what was going to happen.
what's that?
We still waiting on them to address the hate crimes bill as well as the reparations bill.
But as they say, and I have nothing against anyone, but you know, the Asian bill
5, 6, 7, 8 months. 8 months, y'all. 8 months.
we have been talking about reparation in that 3 years. We've been talking about it more than that. But
We've
when
been
we
talking about
really
it for 650 years. If we're gonna be real about it.
no, I'm talking about me and you on air. We're not even talking
Well,
about
we've been talking about it for about 10 years.
okay. But I mean, like we really was
We
putting
started
the
talking about it real seriously about 5 years ago about what America really would owe black people and how its economy would totally because it cannot pay it.
okay. Too Strong says people don't vote on merit anymore, but by color.
I don't agree.
What you think on that? Hey, and as a matter of fact, the numbers right here is 706-955-2001. That's 706-955-2001. You can always
Call
feel free
in.
to call in as well. And why you say you disagree on that, Mama Acid?
I think it's kind of like a crazy phenomenon that we need to understand that every time there's a choice to be made, we have to choose between what's offered, the worst or something that we just couldn't deal with ever. Because, quite honestly, I'm going to sit here and say they had to have something better than Joe Biden. But what do we get left with? Do we have another choice? If
We
we
didn't
had
have
voted for Bernie Sanders, it wouldn't have happened. And I agree with you. A new Black Wall Street. That's why they had the Tulsa celebration today. And if you want to see it, go over on. I don't like to talk about them people, but just go on YouTube and Google New Tulsa Memorial, and you'll see it. And it was just today that they opened it.
okay. We had a question. Did you want me to address the question and then we head over
Yeah,
to
let's hit that question.
the green or okay, we had a question that came in from L Lawrence Carbon that said, why did Biden cut 11,000 jobs with the pipeline and having the gas prices skyrocket?
Okay, let's just put some facts on the table.
And that was a question that was specifically asked to be addressed by Mama Acid.
Here we go.
And wait a
Joe
minute, let me
Biden.
also elaborate because of what we spoke on last week. The person said they had an issue as to what you were saying in regards to the Republican and filibustering on something. So that person had a question to that, and he also had another question which I text him, email back and let him know that we addressed that question already. Was did Biden has been in office for 50 years? What have he done for Black people? And we
You won't let me go off on it. You
we
done held me back on it.
I held you back on it, and I'm gonna let you address that and also address this question. But before we go deep, Don says 63% of Latino voters voted for Biden, 8% versus 2016. 67% of Asian voters voted for Biden, minus 1% versus 2016. 90% of Black voters voted for Biden, 3% versus 2016. 44% of white voters voted for Biden, 3% versus 2016. 37% of white non-college voters voted for Biden, plus 1% versus 2016. 54% of white college voters voted for Biden, plus 4% versus 2016. 70% of Black and of colored women voted for Biden. 48% of white women voted for Biden. Also, we have here Mike Too Strong says, do you want Flint going through your neighborhood? And
It already is.
Medicure daughter said, where is the pipeline?
Let's
So
talk about it.
let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, I have lead pipes in my house, and he says he's going to get rid of them. I mean, I'm waiting on him to do it because when I got an estimate, it was over $20,000, and not even including replacing all of the plaster and the walls and stuff that have to be torn out because my house was built in 1939, so it's not going to be easy for them to just. And about this pipeline, Enbridge, for those who don't know, runs underneath all of the major waterways in America. And if it leaks, which it has before, we will see a catastrophe that when that oil rig exploded in the Gulf of Mexico off of Louisiana, it will be that in every state from New York to California. Could you imagine if the Colorado River, the Mississippi River, all of the Great Lakes, all of these major waterways were all of a sudden to be polluted with oil simply for the price of gasoline being so called stabilized? Now, what is the pipeline, Enbridge pipeline? It's a major pipeline that was constructed from the East Coast to the West Coast to carry crude oil from refinery complexes on the East Coast to the West Coast. They have breaks in different places where they have major chemical refineries, like in Louisiana, which one of them is called the Alley of Death, and several other places. Anyway, wherever these big toxic dumps are, one of them is up in New Jersey. And a few years ago, it leaked and the waterway was on fire. And they were saying, wow, do we really need this in New Jersey? So you can smell New Jersey before you get to it. Should that really be the way that the state greets you? I don't think so. And then Enbridge and the cost of gasoline don't have nothing to do with it. Sorry, friend, it doesn't. And for the record, Joe Biden can't give or take jobs. What he's doing is authorizing the EPA to provide safe ways for them to transport oil. And if they have to transport it by trucks, then that's what they should do. Because you know what? Oil companies get too many breaks. Why should we be paying $3 plus a gallon right now when oil is in proliferation? Do you realize, dear friend, that America has 3 years worth of oil stored in the case of an emergency, and they had to shut down all the ports into this country that America has 3 years of petroleum stored? Now, let me also share this, just for those who don't understand how this works. If you looked at who really made money during the so called artificial crisis of gasoline, was it persons or companies? Well, now they say that companies are people.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure that one out still. I mean, after that happened,
Well,
I've been
I guess
flabbergasted.
I guess you have so many persons that people that are coming up with their own business, and it's just a one entity a one entity, one person business. I guess that's where they're getting that from.
No, that's not how they did it. And you know what it was for? It was for them to be able to make donations. It was part of this convoluted system of campaign finance laws that allowed them to do this. Some, Citizens United really should be disbanded by court order simply for the meddling in the finances of America, but more for confusing Americans on what tax law really is. So this is how it works. They can donate $1 million, but you know what? You as a citizen with one social security number, you're limited in the amount of money that you can, donate simply because you may not have it. But if you had $1 million, would you not give $1 million to a legislator or to a lobbying group in order to get your bill passed if you knew it was going to make you 60 or $80 million or a billion? That's what this is all about. This is not about people. This is about dollars. It's about dead people on paper. So if you all want to keep playing games and thinking that we're not going to answer you harshly, sorry. A new baseline was established today, as you can see. Mama Acid is no longer on the chain.
All right. Yeah.
I just have
Yeah.
to choose my words a little more carefully.
Yes. Okay. So definitely, the entire gas thing is to line the pockets of big people.
Notice
And
where the gas ran out, and notice how quickly it came back, and nothing changed. We didn't have not a drop missing up here in Michigan,
as
Ohio.
as all year, they were not able to raise anything due to them focusing totally on this COVID. All righty. Then now all of a sudden they had to find something to raise the taxes, but not just, I mean, the gas prices, but not just gas prices, everyday commodities, things that people,
Everything.
I mean, definitely, yeah, food and stuff. We've seen the increase in that, but lumber, certain things that are needed to build, okay,
And repair your house.
and to repair your house has doubled. Food
No,
and
no, 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 no. Tell the truth. It went from $3 for a 2x4 to
$10,
$10. That's
$10.
300%.
Okay, I'm trying to do the deck and for the pool, and it's double what I would have had to pay if I had got it done a couple of months ago. And then someone said, "Well, you vote in Biden. You're the one who voted him in because as soon as he came in, things change." As well as sometimes when you hear things like that, it's things that makes you go, because even the way that you trade now in stocks has changed. The way that I used to have to do it before is a different way that we have to do it now, in order to see some money
And you got a
coming.
72-hour hold to get your money.
It's crazy. Too Strong said a sheet of ply that used to cost 22 now costs $70.
That's right.
I'm telling you, the prices are up. Medicure daughter says, "All right now, thanks, Mama Acid Smiles." Okay, so everything has raised due to, and they're using the excuse that because of the gas prices that has went up, that things have doubled and tripled, now, which I don't buy that. I don't buy that. You know what I'm saying?
No, tell the truth. It's because we are not right sizing now the actual economy because it should have been this price all along, but it wasn't because people had more in the economy than was possible to be able to count. Now, when people are using it, it is coming back into right size inventory. Right size inventory means that people are paying for it right now.
Right now. Two Strong says, "Who do you think change it with the things that makes you go And when
We
you
already
hear me,
know.
we already we already know. And when you see me go that's basically I have to make sure when I read out everything, because we have listeners that are not on YouTube. We have listeners on our radio stations, on our telephone lines, and so on. So that's why we make sure that we read out all of the comments that are made on either Facebook or YouTube, whichever entity they're listening to us
Mm.
on. Yeah, but who do you think make the changes, Acid?
Actually, the economy is always controlled by Dun, 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 the super rich. Look, just last week, what's his name? We ain't gonna say his name. Sold his $300 million yacht to buy a $500 million yacht,
Isn't that something?
and he ain't pay no tax last year. He ain't even pay no tax on that boat.
Isn't that something?
I really want to understand how that works because you know what? The economy is messed up because we haven't been paying workers. We don't pay people a living wage. So, we got people accosting people and saying lying things to people like this woman up there talking about she defend the statue of Nazis and Hitler
Hmm.
because she thinks that people need to know about it, but she's the one who's saying critical race theory is a lie and that January 6th didn't happen. It's in our imaginations that the news people made it up.
Okay.
Did they
But
make up them death certificates too?
yeah,
And them
yeah,
settlements to them families?
they sure did. They sure did. They sure did, according to some people. Biden, I kind of cut you last week, and as to answer Lawrence Corbin's question, Elsie, Biden's been in office for 50 years. What have he done for Black people? You started out telling what he has not done. Are you going to go
What
into that?
has he done for black people? He has not spoken out about Robert Greene's murder. He has not spoken about any changes whatsoever to filibustering. That's what he could affect. He has not spoken one word about when are we going to start talking about civil rights again? What about the Voting Rights Act? When is he going to get back on that discussion? Only thing I can remember, and I saw last week again on YouTube, I didn't bookmark it. It just somehow magically showed up in my timeline that I should watch. It was a recommendation where he was having a discussion with a black journalist and said, "You're not black if you don't vote for me."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm still full from that, y'all. I'm sorry. I got gas to this day.
Uh, the question was, what has he done? Not what he has not. What
What has
has
he done? He has continued to depress the system of justice and prevent black people from getting justice. He has continued to support white supremacy in the Senate by not putting his foot down on the filibuster. He's continued to denigrate the lives of black people who he claims to care about by not demanding justice and not demanding that the George Floyd hate bill be passed without a discussion. He's also demeaned black people quite a bit. I mean, that's a generality across the board because he's pretty socially inept. I mean, I'm
yeah.
just going to use a word. The man is married to a woman who had the nerve to say to the vice president, "F you," because she said history, critical race theory up in the White House, y'all. Critical race theory with the man who endorsed the child predator bill. Critical race theory with the man who said that a crack cocaine rock was worth 10 times more time in jail than cocaine powder, which is more favored by the upper class and the people like him and Donald Trump. Okay. Speaking about that, what I really want people to understand about what Joe Biden has done, Joe Biden has hoodwinked and bamboozled black people. That's what he done, y'all. He done hoodwinked and bamboozled us. Every time I see
Okay.
him, I think of that song, Turkey in a Straw.
Don't sing it.
I'm not going to sing it. I think it's disgusting. Every time they play it from the ice cream truck coming up my street at my house, I really want to run outside with a gallon of paint. because I think
Um,
pain would be better than some other things.
moving on from Biden,
That's hard
what
to
do
do.
you, Marjorie Taylor Greene? That's like, oof, that's like equal to what we're talking about. Um,
Okay, she gonna do. She say she what about AOC? AOC
you know,
says she gonna get a restraining order against old girl.
yeah,
So she wouldn't get a restraining order against a bag of garbage. I think there's an easier way to handle that.
okay,
Maybe they should just leak her address in DC and her phone number. Maybe they should give her address at her home away, and they should also send pictures of it out. Maybe they should send out pictures of her license plate on her car. Maybe they should start telling people where she's going to lunch. Maybe somebody get to be friends with
is
somebody on her staff.
is
Maybe we might learn something more about what she's doing in her office besides praising Hitler and Nazis and anti-Semitism
Savio. All
and
right.
xenophobia, because she's
Or
big on xenophobia.
or maybe we need to even just stop talking about her because
No,
I
we can't stop talking about her because if we
too
do,
much.
people will forget that she's there. Just what happened with Mitch McConnell. We stopped talking about him. Now we cannot stop talking about him. He's one of those persons. Did y'all hear me use the word persons we are going to be discussing?
Yeah,
Persons.
persons,
I love that
person.
word now.
All right, all right. So we moving on from, we just touched a little bit with Taylor Greene and the Senate filibuster and what's going on over in Washington. So also in Washington and all around and all these different states, the auctioning of people. Can we call it that?
And they futures and they lives, they
And the
present
people
lives.
and gambling on the people need for help and money. I
Have
think it's
persons lost it?
I think it's real sad that that the country has
No,
came
say
to
it. You are. I'm
has
saying it if you don't. Them.
has came to buying people
It's slavery.
because you know what I'm saying? Because to offer scholarships. So that's mean that you
Is
all
that any
have
different than going to India to go buy a kidney from a person who is about to not have anything and they have to sell you their kidney because you want to live because you got the money to buy the kidney and they don't have the money to even be able to live the next day?
okay. That's real sad. They're just praising it on all of these shows that I've been able to get a little glimpse of. Oh, someone has won the scholarship. So you're trying to say money is there, which we definitely see money has always been there. This
Where'd it come from?
COVID thing has exposed that there's a lot of money out there. And for you
Wait a
to
minute. You say it's a lot of money out there? You talking about the states holding back money? Are you talking about the states not giving people their unemployment and not taking care of these businesses
you heard what I
and
said.
actually letting people lose houses and get their utilities cut off?
You heard what I said.
That would not be Joe Biden, would it?
You heard what I said.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
You breaking
I'm
up.
Snagglepuss, I can say that.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yep, I am. I'm breaking up.
Buying people and giving people false hope or not necessarily disclosing the full of it to everybody. Okay. And it's a sad thing that they're doing to have people
Hey,
trade them
can I talk
themselves just for
about this
money.
lady
It's like,
from Albania?
go ahead, you're breaking up, acid. Go ahead. Acid, you're still breaking up there. Yeah, but I think it's a
Can you
sad.
hear me?
Go ahead. You better now.
This
No, no, still breaking up a little.
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Wait a
Okay, now.
minute. Let me turn off.
Yeah, because I already said we've gone back into in the freeze. But yeah,
How about
it's
this?
it's sad that in order
Yeah.
it's very sad that they are gambling with people's lives and people are gambling with their own lives just for the sake of money.
The lady has been told after she got the Johnson and Johnson vaccine
You,
and she got a blood clot.
you breaking up, sister. You breaking up. I hear you trying to come through, and I see you trying to come through, but you breaking up.
Got a blood clot and you in the hospital telling you got to go out and do a job search from where? Who's going to pay your bills with the Johnson and Johnson clot?
You're breaking up. No one's gonna, and I know you're speaking of the Johnson and Johnson, and yeah, she got totally disconnected. I know she's speaking about the Johnson and Johnson, someone that she knows have got got a clot from the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, and we're getting that clot from the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. Now they're telling her she has to go work when she's having mass difficulty with breathing and everyday things. But they're cutting her off of the unemployment. I was giving them
Okay.
a synopsis of what you were saying,
Is
acid
that
as
better?
yeah, much better. As to the
Okay.
Johnson vaccine and the individual that has the vaccine and they're trying to get her off unemployment. Go ahead, you can finish elaborating on it.
Okay, so this lady is laid up in the hospital with the Johnson and Johnson vaccine blood clot.
Mhm.
She has been in the hospital for weeks.
Yeah.
Now, who is paying for that? Okay. And on top of that, she lost her job because she worked at a restaurant. The restaurant shut down. So, does that mean Joe Biden is paying for it? Or who's paying for it? They didn't give her unemployment. And basically, they gave her the COVID vaccine and it almost killed her. Now they are demanding that she go and start looking for work. She's in the hospital with a blood clot that could have killed her. Me, now, okay, now I'm gonna show you a difference. Me, they are telling me I have to go and search for a job. I have a job. Why would I go and look for a job if I already have a job? I can't do my job because my job is mandated to be closed because it's a food related job and it's in an open environment. So my job is not, I can't work my job right now until they come up with another way for it to be done. And I'm not getting unemployment, even though I was supposed to get unemployment. So I want to know, I haven't got unemployment since the 20th of December last year. That's right. Mama Acid is in the unemployment. Unemployment isn't paid. They didn't pay that lady either. We're just two people. I can tell you many other people, but those who want to know
We
when
do
they're talking about all this
acid.
money related to COVID,
Hold the line, caller.
where
Acid.
where is this pile of money that they're using
All right, you're breaking up a lot, acid. I can't make out what you're saying, and we do have a caller that is on the line. Greetings, caller. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Great.
I just wanted to add to what you guys been saying. There is a lot of money out there because what happened was a lot of those folks who used to be civil servants in Jamaica, for
Mhm.
example, my father, my father worked all of his life in Jamaica as a police officer. He retired and came to America and was here for almost 30 years, but he spent almost 30 in the force in Jamaica, and he died, and none of us was able to collect any of his pension. So there's a lot of Jamaicans that passed and their children, they don't know how to collect these pensions. So all this money is out there in Jamaica. Yes,
Mhm.
there's a lot of money because it's not being distributed even the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
So I just wanted to add that to you guys and let you know that Jamaica have a lot to answer to.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You thank you, caller, for calling in. And that's something that's truthful as to the persons that left Jamaica and came and just travel abroad wherever. And 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 their children are unable to collect their pensions. And there should be something, well, do children collect pensions, or isn't it just spouse that normally be able to collect a person's pension? Caller?
But a lot of people do not know that you can collect pension even though you might be a citizen. You became a citizen of another country. You can collect that pension, I found out, whether it be
Okay.
the spouse or the children. But it is the Jamaican government duty to let these people know and to have a resource where they can notify these people that this pension is available. But people
Okay.
do not know that it's available. So they don't go out to investigate it.
Right.
But I did for a little while, and that's how I found out that my dad, for almost 40 years, he was in the force before he left, and he never got any type of compensation for his hard work and the time that he put in. And I did not know this until 2 years ago. I started to inquire about it after my father passed, and I found out that there was pension there for him. And as a Jamaican, you never lose your citizenship. They had a program downtown in one of those hotels that I went to. And the governor general himself told us that you never lose your citizenship. You are always a citizen of Jamaica,
Yeah.
whether you became a citizen of another country or not. So
Yeah.
therefore, you're entitled to these pensions. But a lot of Jamaicans do not know that because it was
Okay.
not taught to us
Okay.
from we were young. So we don't know this.
Yeah. And that's interesting. That's interesting because you do have individuals that worked for years upon years and migrated to different countries and
Yes,
don't even look back. They're not
yes,
even looking back and knowing that they should receive
yes,
money, after they
yes,
reach certain amount of whatever age group that you
years,
need to meet,
yes.
in order to start collecting that pension.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's their retirement fund. Put it that way.
Okay.
You know, it's like they're retiring. After you do certain amount of years in America, some company 10, some company 8, some 7, you have a retirement fund that is set
Mhm.
aside from you starting. It's the same thing in all countries, at least most of the countries. They have this retirement fund set aside and it's considered your pension.
Right.
You see what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
And a lot of people coming from Jamaica or some of these Caribbean islands, they don't know all of it.
Right.
And because
Right.
they don't know, they never inquired about it.
Right.
These things need to be exposed.
Yeah.
And I really love your program because there are lots of things that you guys bring to the forefront that people really need to know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I just want to say again, big up this program. And we need to have more people or people of Caribbean descendant tuning in to this program so they can learn more about what's going on in the
Yes.
Caribbean.
Yes. We thank you for that. We thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Mama Acid is back, and
I
we
caught
thank.
the end of it and it was good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah. She
welcome.
was
You're
the
welcome.
caller
God
was
bless you
speaking
guys.
as to pensions and things like that from persons who migrated from Jamaica or any other country that they may
Hmm.
have migrated from, where they've worked for X amount of years, 10, 20, 30 years, and then they migrate to another country, and they don't, and let's say they even get their citizenship, they're not
They're not
they,
entitled to that. That's remember we talked about this under Windrush.
but the
How the British stole all these people's money, even their property and their bank accounts.
but as the caller had said, she did some research, and she found out that they are entitled to get their pensions. Let's say persons who left Jamaica and came to America, they are entitled to still get their pensions. And we need to look into that. A lot of people
Yes.
look into, especially, you know, a lot of people who did nursing, whatever job that you did, and you were on it from
If he was
anywhere
a
from
civil servant.
10 years. Yeah, you should be able to
Jamaican civil servants, yes, they're called, yes.
yeah, Jamaican civil service, they should be
Hmm.
Right.
able to get the what is due to them. They worked hard for it, and yeah. So I'm glad that you brought that to the forefront, Carla. I thank you for
Definitely, caller. Thank you. That's important. People need to know where their money is.
where their money is, and
All right.
that they do have money, and that they do have
Yes,
money out there. You know what I
these
mean?
money
And
were not collected. No one collected these money. So they're there.
yeah, yeah, we
These
we we
funds were
visited.
set aside. These funds were set aside for those main purposes. So if it wasn't allocated to these people, where is it?
Right.
Where is Yeah, yeah. We kind of
Ooh.
sort of touched it. We kind of sort of touched that topic. I think it was last year when we were visiting the Windrush, as Mama Acid has said, what was going on in England and stuff. And we kind of we touched it, but we didn't get deep into it. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Don has a question here, but we'll get back to this one because he did
We can
address.
answer that one though.
Wait a minute. He addressed that if you have lived or worked in Jamaica and in Canada, or you are the survivor of someone who has lived or worked in Jamaica,
Survivor benefits.
you may be eligible for pensions or benefit from Jamaica or Canada or both. So it seems as if it's not just spouses that can get the pension. It's also survivors of that individual, like their children, etc., can also get those benefits. So get on it. Let's start. If you have parents that are deceased now or whatever, and they didn't collect their pensions, go and ask where that money is. You all want some of that dinero. Okay. So thank you again, caller. We appreciate that. And wanted to go back to Don's question, and Mama Asim said she wanted to answer that now. Would things be any better if 45 was still in the White House?
Yes, Don, I want to address that directly. Today, Cyrus Vance Jr., the Attorney General for the state of New York, sat in the first session with the grand jury that was impaneled to investigate the criminal acts committed by Donald Trump. Number 45. Would things be any better if 45 was in the White House? Let me answer you like a real Jew. For who, Don?
Things would things be better? But right now, I've been hearing a lot of talk that things are worse now since Biden is in office, and prices of things is evident to that. The policies that he is putting out is evident to that. That's what someone reasoned with me about, even just
Talked
today.
about that ice cream job. That ice cream job.
Huh? Say that again.
The ice cream job.
What ice cream job?
There's an ice cream scooper's job available for 6 months. No one would take the job. They had the job at $13. Guess what? They changed the rate of pay to $15.75 last week. They can't keep up with the flow of applicants. There are thousands coming in suddenly. McDonald's had a $50 come in and interview. Just come on in and have an interview. We'll give you $50. Just come on up here for the interview. Because if you're gonna work, even if you just work for 2 weeks, and we can train you how to use the fryer for 2 weeks, it'll be better than not having you. So you come up there, you get your $50, and most people don't realize that the $50 is in their first paycheck. When they hear that part, they walk out.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody working for $13.25 nowhere, unless of course you can't get nothing else. And one of the issues is livable wage.
Mhm.
We have been complaining about a livable wage since 1998 was the last time the national federal livable wage changed the discussion. Okay, the increase in wage, national minimum wage, Don, do you know when that happened? Since I'm gonna answer you like a Jew. Hey, I know.
Don says here we are complaining about
We're not
Biden.
complaining about Biden. We're not talking about Biden. What we're talking about is the Senate. Biden can't do nothing. Biden is just a guy who signs a bunch of letters. He don't change nothing. If he did, wouldn't we be having better discussions now? It looks like he did something for them Asians in 100 days.
And when you said Biden can't do anything, is well, what we were mostly talking about, yeah, was the Senate and their
You know what?
filibustering.
I should back that up, shouldn't I?
Yeah, go ahead.
To those who don't know, I believe it was 2 weeks ago we gave a statistic about who supports who. For those who don't know, the biggest financial supporters of the Proud Boys and Donald Trump
Mhm.
were Asians.
Mm.
I know I'm looking real different now, ain't I?
Well, if the biggest supporters, we did see when Don put in there that 67% of Asian voters voted for Biden. One that's minus 1% versus 2016. So he did get a large amount of voters from the Asian population.
Yeah,
Breaking
but
up again.
look what Trump got. Trump got the money. The money speaks.
Breaking up again, my sister.
I think my headset is unhappy.
Break it up again.
Maybe it's my computer.
Yeah, maybe we need to find out what the voting
Can you
looks
hear me?
like with yeah, you're breaking up. But yeah, we need to maybe find out the statistics as to by ethnic groups.
Every time we start talking, this happens.
You break
You're trying to force me into
up,
show.
my sister. You break it up. The statistics of the ethnic groups that voted for Trump and see what happens with that as well. Now you're looking a little better. I think maybe go ahead, talk and let me see.
Okay, Don Minot. You think you could come up with that for us?
Okay, what's the dark horse?
I mean, I'm hoping that Don Minot can come up with data
With the data. Okay, hopefully he can come up
about
with the
Trump.
data as he provided us for
But wait a minute. We didn't talk about the big ugly chocolate chip in the
what's
cookie.
that?
Have we forgotten who made the budget for this year?
Who made the budget for this year?
Biden wasn't elected.
So the budget from this year is based off of what it was when 45 was in power.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we're working with what was left for us to work with. That's what you're saying. Well, Biden is working with what was left for him to work with. And now he's in the seat, so he is putting together things to work a little better for next year. That's what you're saying? Okay. All righty. So,
Yes. That's why the Senate is mad.
okay.
They don't want to approve the $7 trillion
For next
budget
for next
request.
okay. Okay.
They said he's out of his mind. That's how Mitch McConnell spoke about the president,
Okay.
who's coming to him with a book of facts and figures showing him what they're going to spend the money on. Donald Trump didn't do that.
Okay.
Donald Trump had them have dinner with
Okay.
him at his hotel in the federal
You
post
break
office, which Donald Trump will have it after the end of this year. They're going to take that lease back because they are at less than 25% booking rates at the high season. This is high season in DC. Ain't nobody staying up in there no $400 a night because there are no benefits. Everybody's gone back to the Marriott.
okay. Okay, you breaking up, but I'm getting some of what you're saying there. You breaking up a little. But all righty. Let's divert from as you said, we can't divert from Biden, but let's divert a little bit. Mass shooting.
I want to know about the PNP BS.
Well, I'm the PNP situation is going on with Dr. Dayton Campbell is the individual or the general secretary that we're speaking of. And back I it came out back like about April or so. I saw the article on it. And I even saw the video where Karen Cross had, and she's a PNP activist, and she came in and she was speaking in regards to some accusing him of being a pedophile, basically messing with young children. But nothing was, it wasn't big on before I even complete that, a message just popped up. Mine it said overall, President Trump received 26% of the non-white vote, but George W. Bush received more than 28%. Okay, so that's what Don put up there. All right, did you want to answer that, and then we go
The
into
Asians don't count in the non-white category, Don. For Republicans, Asians count in the white category. That's how they see
you
themselves.
breaking up, acid? You breaking up? Okay, they don't. You said they don't count the Asians, but we just saw the statistics for.
In the white, they count them white.
Oh, they count the Asian population as white. So when they give an overall, they give an overall of the 26% is including not just Caucasian, but Asians and anyone of the Caucasian skin. That's what you're basically saying. Okay.
Hmm.
All righty. All right. Okay, so back with the PNP, Dr. Dayton Campbell. Well, a couple of months ago, it surfaced and I saw it and didn't really go any further with it because it was just an accusation at the time. Then it started to circulate and get louder and louder. And then Dr. Dayton Campbell responded to it and say he's in no way a pedophile or anything like that, and is defamation of character, etc. That Cross was bringing up against him. So he had said if she didn't take it back or retract or whatever, he was going to file a defamation of character suit, etc. So, which in turn, she didn't take back anything because then she came out and says, well, okay, I have proof of what I'm saying. So she went on ahead and he went on ahead and filed charges. So then in turn, Karen Cross put out the information that she had. Okay. Now this is all alleged. This is it goes somewhat like that. I'm just dipping and
Yes.
diving into this the topic. But her evidence is from 3 of the alleged victims. And each victim needed help. And they went to his office for help. May it be for school, medical needs, whatever it was. It was 3 young ladies, and they started at the age of 15. And basically all of them was age 15. One started in 2014. And most of the encounters stopped after 2016. And these young ladies are older now. So it was they filled out form affidavits, and what they had a question to, it was also signed by the justice of the peace in the area. And this is all somewhere in St. Anne's and the Brownstown area, Northwestern constituency. So so all charges, they haven't filed any charges against him, because they're still saying it's alleged, it's just accusation. But I had questions to how is it alleged? How is it alleged and how is accusations when the victims themselves, have came forward, got a paper signed stating that they did make these comments, these accusations, and that is true. So the PNP now is saying that they are standing by Dr. Campbell, which it brings me back to the same thing they did with George Wrong, whom assaulted, I guess that's his common law wife or whomever. It is alleged that he assaulted the common law wife, which on the video, it clearly shows that it's him. But it seems like they keep letting go and not investigating serious situations. And that's what I have a problem with, because they automatically, is up and saying that they support him and it's just allegations, is nothing concrete. And I'm trying to find the exact words that they kind of sort of used. They said that it's where is it? I'm trying to find exactly the words that the PNP used as to why they're backing him. Okay. They're basically saying that it is there's no oh boy, I'm trying to find it. I thought I highlighted it, but I didn't highlight it Um, okay, but basically, they're trying to say that they need more evidence. What the evidence that was presented is not enough um, to file criminal
The
charge,
victim's not enough.
to file criminal charges against or to remove him from his seat. And to me it's like a pattern. They've done it with the other MP, and now they're coming again and they're doing it with him. It's no surprise.
Ain't no different.
It's no surprise about pedophile acts that a lot of these adult males commit with these young girls. It's been happening since Wappy killed Philip. You know, we've discussed it a couple of months ago, I think, or even last year again, even with the taxi drivers and taking the kids to school, and having relations with them. It's because of the need. They are poor, the need that they have. It comes back with this, with this. It's alleged that this MP had done the same thing. Someone went to him and said they needed help with their family, and they needed food, and they needed help with school for their brothers. And then all of a sudden they start going on trips, local trips, going to hotels, things like that. These are what the alleged victims, are saying that happened to them. And then they have one that said that, at first when she started to like it. He took her virginity. There was another one that said that she continued to do these things. It's alleged that she said she continued to do these things because she was afraid of her mother. Her mother was condoning what was going on because she was receiving help. And to read the full article, you all could go to the Jamaica Gleaner. They have certain texts, they have some excerpts and stuff about the whole thing that's going on. But when it's all said and done, nothing at this point is going to be done. There's no civil case against him. There's no criminal case being put forward about, in regards to this. And I think that that's sad. And I think Jamaica needs to move away from that stigma that they have flowing over them, is that men can get away with raping, abusing women, may it be young or old, and there is
Other men too.
consequences, and other men with no consequences. And I have a problem with that. So I'm really, really hoping that with this document, with these statements that were made, and that something be done about it. And also, I want to know why the JP didn't do something about it. Why the person who signed off on these documents didn't report it, did not report that something such as this was happening. And we have a caller, hold the line, caller. Before that, we have a statement from Don saying, in a release on Sunday, the police said after extensive investigation into the claims that were made via social media against Campbell, no basis has been found to the allegations that were made. But I'm like, how no basis have been made to the allegations when there are documents that were
Sworn
signed
statements.
by the JP in that area? How could there not be basis? That's what I didn't. That's what I don't grasp that. And what does it take for them to investigate this situation further? Carla, you're on the line.
Yes, I just want to interject again.
Okay.
This has been going on for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Most of these third world country, like we said,
Mhm.
They're corrupted. They're corrupted because the government have control. They have total control of the people, and these people are scared to speak up. It's
Yeah.
not just Jamaica. It goes on in even Mexico,
Mm.
Africa, all these third world countries.
Yeah.
These small countries, the government runs the country. They don't have people to that answers to what they do.
Yeah.
So therefore, they take advantage. These people have no other way of getting the funding that they need for medical aid or for schooling. So they sell their bodies. These young girls sell their bodies
Yeah.
and they sell their bodies to get where they need to go.
Yeah.
So it's not in Jamaica alone. It's these third world countries. And no one is held accountable
Accountable.
for that,
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
actions.
And
And,
Mhm.
you
Go ahead.
know,
Mhm.
it's very hard to pinpoint some of these individuals because they have other people covering for them.
Mhm.
So therefore, it's hard for them to get a conviction when they do go. So I mean,
What?
it's what it is, unless the system is changed.
Yeah. It has to start in the system. Um,
Yes,
it has to start in the system. But from all these years, nothing has changed. I don't know if anything would change. You know, it was depicted already as to when one of the young ladies, it's alleged that one of them had said in their affidavit that they were afraid of their mom because
mhm,
they were doing things for he was doing things for the mom. And it was depicted already in Dance Hall Queen, you know, when the
but
mom allowed
mhm,
for that big guy to mess with her daughter, you know, and was telling her daughter to just go with the flow. So I think people are aware, persons are aware of
yes,
the act that is being committed. What needs to
yes,
be done is that they need to be held accountable and go to jail.
yes.
They need to be
Until that is
charged.
done, lady, until that is done, it's going to continue.
It's going to
Because
continue.
these people, that's the only resource, some of them, that they have. Remember, some of these people have no food. They
Yeah.
have no housing,
Yeah.
and that's the only way they can get that funding to do these things.
Yeah.
My voice is, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me.
That's
But,
okay.
it is until the system starts to look into these things and do something about it, it's going to continue, sis. It's going to continue.
It's not going to change. We have a comment
It's
by
not going
from
to
Don.
change.
Pressure is mounting on the General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, with calls for his resignation from the party position until the resolution of the court case in which he has been accused of engaging in sexual relations with 3 underage girls. Campbell, the former member of parliament for the Northwest St. Anne's, has stoutly denied the allegation and has brought a defamation suit against his accusers. PNP activist Karen Cross and blogger Natalie. Yeah, that's he's still fighting and saying that he did not do it. But my concern is that it was Natalie Stacks and Michelle Stearns, or some of the activists that are pushing for the charges to be brought against Dr. Campbell. But yeah, it's oh, I thought someone was saying something. Yeah, they need to be held accountable for what they're doing, and nothing, Colin, nothing is going to change until you start seeing these people be held accountable. But how can they be held accountable when they have more of them in there that are doing the same thing? And they may be afraid that their dirty laundry be eared if they vote against him. It's the same thing with the beating. How can they sit there and defend a beater that was on camera? You can see his face.
We saw it.
You know, you saw everything, but yet they defended him. So if things, it has to start, it has to start there in order for changes. And I don't see that necessarily happening because they're all in colleague in together doing the same thing in high places and getting away with it. They're quick to condemn and
Hey,
lock up the little man, but not the big man. Go ahead, Acid.
Matt
It's
Gates.
breaking up. Matt Gates, you said? Okay. Yeah, you breaking up. Go ahead and let me see if I can still hear you.
Buying sex in Florida
Uh-huh.
from teenagers and now being investigated for it after he was turned in by the tax collector.
Ooh, okay.
Remember? The tax collector turned him in because it was his friend. They made a deal with the tax collector, and the tax collector gave up his Venmo account and also the account they used to pay these girls Cash App.
Okay.
So they had the messages
So
showing that they engaged with these girls that shows that they paid them for sex and other favors.
okay. So
That's a direct admission of
so
guilt.
with Cash App, there's paper trail as well.
That's the point. And Matt Gates is still in the U.S. Congress. So what you think gonna happen in Jamaica? If they ain't removing him from the U.S. Congress, he up there in the Congress showing pictures of other women to other members of
Well,
Congress.
45, 145 say he likes to grope and whatever the women, and they still voted him into office as the president. So
Some of them maybe they're not getting enough attention.
okay, so people nothing is going to change as long as people high up is continuing to be let off the hook. You have to start up to make an impact on lower. You know what I'm saying? But all righty. We're gonna move on from the PMP because we have 10 minutes
Lady
left to
D,
go. And you wanted to make a comment in regards to the P. Go ahead.
yeah. Remember the video that we watched,
Breaking
the
up.
man who was in jail who said that the MPs used to come and get him from jail to take him to go and commit crimes,
Acid,
including murder and all kind of other thing on the.
Acid, you might call in and mute, keep yourself on the camera, but call in and mute the that and call in so because I really want to hear your point. Okay. And also, so when Acid come back live on the telephone, we're going to let her make her statement as to this PNP and Dr. Dayton Campbell. And also then we're going to briefly touch all this mass shooting. And Acid brought something to my attention that there have been over 100 mass shooting so far this year. So yeah, we definitely need to talk about that as well. The mass shooting. Alrighty, so here goes Acid. All right, Mama Acid.
That's me.
All right, all right. You know what? I think I didn't have the mic up when the young lady was talking. Mute. Let's mute your I'm gonna mute your computer here. Then hopefully we won't have that feedback. But we still having the feedback Acid, so that don't seem like it's working either. Let me see if I mute mine, if that will
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
I can hear you. I gotta mute myself as well. So you go
Okay.
ahead and make your statement and then go to the mass shooting. All righty.
sexual predators in all of the places that we've been talking about to be shut down. We've been talking about this problem in like Don might not see it. It is a male dominated society. But one of the problems is that women buy into that. And until women stop buying into that and start saying, I don't care what you think, the reality is this.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
for
think
those who
more
didn't
than
know what the um comment was from Don is that we're living in a male dominant society. The woman is seen as the sexual object. And really,
yep,
really in some it is true, acid, that the women are being seen as sex objects. And it's not just now that women has been being seen as sex objects. You know, it's been forever that women has been seen, treated, as sex objects.
is wrong. But you know what? We're gonna have this conversation over and over and over.
Yeah.
Move on to the next one so we can get to the real good
Yeah, because we
gristle.
have what, 7 minutes left. 100 mass shooting. When you brought that to my attention today, I was like, get out of here. 100 mass shooting by
By white
white
men.
men during, elaborate for me.
When this figure popped up, I thought it was crazy. But after you look at the figure and you really look at all the news reports, you can see clearly that it all happened. It's all been documented in the news. We see that lately all the mass shootings are being done by white men. One of the worst things, is that regardless of what we do, we're still caught up in the very same scenario. People think that they're supremacy. They believe that they're supreme over all life. So these white men with guns are empowered by people who don't believe that laws apply to them, like the people in Texas who are now trying to pass a law that would allow anyone to just walk in to any gun shop and buy a gun. You wouldn't have to worry about background check, fingerprints, learning anything about the gun, nothing. Not you don't even have to wait 10 minutes. You just walk in and say, "Give me a 45 and a box of shells," and walk right out the door and do your first mass shooting. That to me is nonsense, and we would have been through with it if we didn't have white men dominating the society and preventing us from being able to control not just violence in a physical sense, but also violence emotionally and terrorizing people like the filibuster, because that has terrified America for long enough. And
Okay.
they're all the same people.
Mhm.
Do you think there are some different people, or are these still the same people?
The same people.
It
I
seems to
think
me
I think
like
there was only
they
like I
they
think there
like
was
it
like
that
like
way.
only one mass shooting that I saw that it was a melanated skin person that did, and I was like, whoa, because I was really shocked at that when I had saw that shooting. I forget which shooting that was. Um, don't have it in front of me
Isn't that
either.
something?
Yeah,
It was in
but
Atlanta.
the majority, yeah, in Atlanta, right?
It was at a party.
But the majority of it has been done. Is it a mental thing, do you think?
Okay, so the question is it a mental issue when you take a gun and you go and attack a whole bunch of other people?
No. But then
We
again,
making
we don't
decisions
know.
then, aren't we? When we decide where we want to go and we decide we want to shoot these people and we decide that we are in charge of their life,
Okay. So
their lifespan.
what are you, when you bring this up, what are we saying to the listeners?
We're saying that if you decide to go to Texas Know that you're taking your life into your own hands. Also, don't forget the beginning of the show, we mentioned to you that black people were illegal in North Carolina. Guess what? Black people are still illegal in North Carolina. And the reason for that is that they passed an anti slavery bill which banned black people from being in Atlanta, from being in North Carolina because they could be enslaved. And in the Constitution today, the black man is still considered three-fifths of a person because it has never been rectified.
Right,
But
but
don't
I
forget that the Constitution was written only by white male slave owners.
right. But that's interesting, and I really have to look that up, or you if you could send me the contents on that. As to this day, persons, what you're saying, to this day, persons in North living in North Carolina, they can try to enslave, they could bring them back to slavery. That's what you're saying?
No, what happened is North Carolina outlawed black people being in North Carolina to prevent slavery in North Carolina.
Mhm.
So once the 13th and 14th Amendments were passed, the 13th Amendment ended slavery, and the 14th Amendment is so-called Human Rights Amendment. Now, the 14th Amendment doesn't do anything at all. It's just to restore human rights to people of color. It mostly deals with stuff like sexual preference and, if you're gay or, if you got a certain type of religion and somebody tries to discriminate against you.
Mhm.
But it doesn't say specifically if you're black and you've been discriminated against, that that's illegal. That was supposed to be the case under Brown v. Board of Education and actually under Plessy v. Ferguson. But because of the Supreme Court's resistance to force civil rights enforcement, there's never going to be a rule in America that's going to allow black people to be seen as equals, not even voting. And if the case was, it would mean that black people would not be paying a quotient for being black. When I say that, what I mean is if you as a black person go out and look for a house, you're going to pay the highest interest rate available.
Yeah.
You're going to pay the highest price for the house,
Yeah.
and you're going to pay the highest insurance, regardless.
Yeah. I saw
Just
there
because
there
you're black.
there was a test that was done where someone felt that they were charged more because of
Recently.
when they were trying to buy a house, and they had their white husband, and it was like how many percentage difference when the husband went by himself versus when she went by herself. So that was very interesting. Well, we
Last week.
we need to
What about the lady last week who
yeah.
released the pictures of how she had to whitewash her house in order to get the right amount of money for the house when she was selling it? She
Yeah.
pulled it off the market in order to take out anything that would personally refer to her family.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Well, listen, um, our time has come. It's 9 o'clock on the nose. So we're going to get ready to get up on out the air chair. We want to thank each and every one for joining us. And yeah, if we myself and my master will reason later and see if we need to go a little bit deeper into the mass shooting since the time ran out on us. And
Next week.
next week, yeah, right here on the Powerhouse Radio. And Mama asked, did you want to say any last words to our listeners?
Wash your hands, social distance, and wear your mask.
Wear your
And
mask.
don't trust people you don't know, especially white people you don't know.
Well, I yeah, just keep
Those are
that
my
social
words.
distancing, and definitely wash your hands, and just be aware. Just be aware of just everything and anything. Be aware of. We love you all. Don't forget to continue to listen to all the fantabulous programmings right here on the Powerhouse Radio. We have Saturday Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion from 8 a.m. to 10. As a matter of fact, right after this program, we're going to go on into the Two Strong Praise moment. And then you have the Bishop Blair Gospel Explosion Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Yours truly, Lady D, is from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And we also most definitely have blessings to you, Donna. You know you're a total asset to us over here on Reasoning Thursdays. So we thank you each and every week for your participation. For the caller that called in, we want to thank you as well for your participation. And we encourage each and every one to continue to call in and participate in these discussion and to send for any topics that you would like to hear or for us to reason on, then definitely send it to DA Powerhouse Radio at gmail.com. That's DA Powerhouse Radio at gmail.com. Once again, don't forget praise Two Storm praise moment right after Reasoning Thursdays. You do also have Bishop Blair Saturday morning, the Lady D show from 12 to 4 p.m. on Saturday. And it's the Medicure Daughter with I Am Meta. And that's your health, your spirit, your mind, all of that she focuses on each and every Sundays from 6 p.m. up until 7 o'clock. And then it is all about love. If you're in love, you need to be tuning into All About Love. Or you want to get in love, tune in to All About Love right here on the Powerhouse Radio as we leave out with the big man himself. You know what? First, it was we will work it out. But right now, we've got to make a change. Big ups, loving her, and check you all on out next week, same time, same place, and same station. So keep it locked.
Shoot, shoot, shoot it, do. Shoot, 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 shoot it, do. We both got to make an effort, and I'm willing to meet you halfway. We both got to be sincere if our wish is to see a better day. Somebody please tell me why so much animosity? Hate is too much a burden to bear, when love is so much easier to share. Shoo-doo, shoo-doo, shoo-doo. Shoo, shoo, shoo-doo-doo. We gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Let's change the situation. We gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Cause we're heading for a confrontation. Shoo-doo, shoo-doo, shoo-doo. Shoo, shoo, shoo-doo-doo. Shoo-doo, shoo-doo, shoo-doo. Shoo, shoo, shoo-doo-doo. It's all up to you and me to make peace a possibility. We can't let it slip away, or we're destined to repeat yesterday. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Shoop, shoop, shoo-doo-doo-doo. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
You're in tune to the Powerhouse Radio, linking the world to the
People
full.
of goodwill, let's put our differences aside. Got to remove all barriers, and this hate will subside. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Shoop, shoo-doo-doo-doo. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Shoop, shoop, shoo-doo-doo-doo. Gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Change the situation. We gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Cause we're heading for a confrontation. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Shoop, shoop, shoo-doo-doo-doo. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Shoop, shoop, shoo-doo-doo-doo. Both got to make an effort. I'm willing to meet you halfway. We both got to be sincere if wish is to see a better day. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Shoop, shoop, shoop-a-do-do. Shoo-do-do-do-do-do. Shoop, shoop, shoop-a-do-do. We gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Let's change the situation. We gotta change, we gotta change, we gotta change. Cause we're heading for a confrontation. Shoo-do, shoo-do. Shoop, shoop, shoop-a-do-do. Shoo-do, shoo-do. Shoop, shoop, shoop-a-do-do.